Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I am your host, Carolyn Orff, and it is the last episode of February. I can't even believe it. The time has just flown by. As a reminder, we will not have a show next week because I will be in Cleveland at the home office working with 34 travel advisors as we celebrate and welcome them to KHM and Boot Camp 1.0 for the very first time in 2 years. So we are beyond excited for this first event that we're having. But have no fear, we'll be back March 2nd with a fantastic agent awards show. So whether you're with KHM or not, we welcome you to join us and celebrate. There'll be sparkle, there'll be joy, laughter, and likely a few tears, and all are welcome to join in the fun. So we hope to see you there. Still haven't picked out my dress yet, working on that. But let's get today's party started with our very first guest. We are so proud of this young woman. She is a KHM agent and was recently named one of 9 Black Millennial Travel Advisors that are shaking up the travel industry. Please welcome Charity Peaver. Welcome, Charity.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, it's so great to see you. Almost, we're
Great
going to
to
see. There
be
you
here.
are.
Hi.
Well, we're so excited to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
You bet. So let's just, kind of give a rundown of yourself. How long have you been in the industry and what do you focus on?
So I've been in the industry since late 2019, like right before COVID hit. And I focus on destination weddings and luxury travel.
So, what brought you to the forefront of Travel Noir magazine to be able to say, at the craziest time of the travel industry, to say, hold the presses, watch out for this woman because she's a mover and a shaker.
So it really had a lot to do with our social media presence. Our social media presence and our Instagram and our Facebook, we've invested heavily in that and making sure we're connecting with our travelers and our audience so that they know that, even though the world might have been shut down, we were still pumping out that inspirational travel, getting people to think about their writing about, locations that are coming up and coming. Like we were one of the first to write about Cartagena, which is set to be one of the biggest new travel destinations in South America. So we really study the trends. We understand our client, like we know who we're talking to, so we want to make sure that we're sending the right message of this is where you want to be and we're who you want to travel with. And as well, we had some of our wonderful clients actually wrote about us to the publication that got us on their radar. So keep up that really great customer service because you never know which client is in a position to be able to elevate you higher.
So, you yourself are a millennial. Does that describe your client base as well, or are you all over the board?
So we're all over the board. So when you're talking about luxury travel, we're talking about maybe older millennials, maybe 35 to 40, because yes, millennials are turning 40. We are not. So sometimes when people like to lump us all in one category, we're like, no, 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 that's not us. That's Gen Z. That's the one behind us. So our older millennials are our client base. We work with a lot of tech. People who work in tech sometimes convenience is really important to people. So they're like, I can do all the research to plan my travel, but I don't really want to.
Mhm.
And it really helps that they're looking for someone who's experienced in the destination to be able to guide them on a trip. So that's also where your Instagram and your social media comes really important because when you're posting about these places that people want to go, they then see you as an expert in that. So if you have just posted a really great if you booked a really great trip for someone, we booked a Bora Bora honeymoon
Yeah.
recently and we put that on our social media. We're like, we just booked this great, overwater bungalow in Bora Bora. This is what we were able to get for our clients. And off of that one post, we had about 15 Bora Bora inquiries based off that one post on Instagram. So using those hashtags, making sure you're in those right circles and interacting with your audience. Like when someone comments on something, comment back. Like get your personality out there, and they'll turn to you when they're ready to book their travel.
So I seriously wish I was like taking notes right now because, I have my little bullet points, all of which are going out the window right now because what you said was so interesting. How do you take, it's kind of a two-parter. How do you take those 15 inquiries and break it down so that it's an actual person that wants to book with you? Because you just said, right? So
Hmm.
these tech people, right? This age group can do it themselves, yet they come to you for information. How do you hook them into keeping that booking instead of them taking your information and going and doing it on their own?
So what happens with us is that we've kind of automated our inquiry process, right? So what happens is they reach out to us. We said, "Oh, great, we'd love to hear more about your trip. Why don't you just fill out this quick questionnaire? Tell us a couple things." In that questionnaire contains what are you looking to spend, where are you looking to go, how long are you looking to go for. We do a mini qualifying session
Mhm.
right there in that questionnaire. So as soon as they fill in that questionnaire then redirects them to book a consultation with us. Like they submit, the questionnaire comes to us, they get the link immediately. They go to our booking page to book a consultation with us. They click that time to book with us. And then I get in front of them and we go into our spiel about how we plan this for you and what do we do, all the services we offer. And then by the time we're done with that, like they're either like, "Oh, great, this is wonderful. I would love to work with you," or, maybe at a later date or whatever. And we have had people that after that consultation, they just were like, maybe later. They did come back to us later. They
Mm,
kept following us on Facebook. They keep interacting with our posts. So we make sure when we see someone who maybe didn't book with us after that consultation, if we see them commenting, we make sure to comment back. We make sure to keep them engaged with our brand so that they think of us first come to mind. It also happens with our destination weddings page. We grew that page. As you know, weddings are, difficult because it's like up to a year of planning.
yeah.
So in 2019, early 2020, we just kept putting out that content. We didn't reap the rewards until 2021, until 2022 engagement season hit. I mean, as soon as these girls were engaged in our inbox, "Okay, I know I want a destination wedding. I've been following you guys for a while. What do we need to do?" So basically, as a millennial, I'm going to tell everybody, be using your social media,
Yeah.
because if you're talking, if you know who your client is and you're posting what they want to see and interact with, they will follow you and they will come to you when they're ready to book their trip or their destination.
So it's clear from what you were saying that number one, you have passion. You can see
Yeah.
that coming out of your pores. You have the knowledge. You suggested in this article that talked about you that service is really the key to success. So, that process that you have is so important, and that's one piece. But I feel like there's got to be more to what you do. So, what would you say is the rest of that service piece that you offer?
So for us, the rest of that service piece is making sure when we're going through a consultation and before you booked a trip with us, when we go over our proposal, that proposal meeting is an hour meeting that we set up with you, where we go through every nook and cranny of your proposal, allow you to ask those questions, allow you to feel like you're being heard during the process. I tell all my clients, yes, I'm your travel advisor, but this is a collaborative process, right?
Mhm.
So if there's something that you don't like on the itinerary, please say something. If there's something that you're like, "I really like the resort, but can we switch out this excursion because I might like to go sailing instead?" No problem. We're
Mhm.
there to make sure you're having the trip that you want to experience.
Mhm.
So therefore, sometimes we find we book not just a trip with one supplier sometimes, right? So in order to really customize that experience for them, I might need to book a resort, with GoGo. Then to find that great experience that they're looking for, I might need to go with tours by locals to
Mhm.
get that hone in on what it is they want to experience in that destination and find the connection to pull it all together for them seamlessly.
I love the idea of collaboration. And I think that that's not just the proposal part, but it's the actual travel part. I'm starting
Yes.
to use that in my conversations when we go over documents and things like that, right? That I can only do so much if I'm not standing next to you in
Hmm.
destination. So I need you to also be your own travel advocate and stand in that line and talk to that person at customer service if that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do it together, but there has to be some collaboration there. Um, One of the goals that you have said is for your clients to open their minds, feed their spirit, and leave them forever changed. And I can totally see this. And we've just met today how this is something that is not just a goal, but likely a reality. Um, how and what do you do to work towards helping your clients achieve this?
So that comes to really listening. When you're in that consultation, they might say something that might be out of the way, like when I'm scheduling a romantic getaway, I'll ask about your partner. How did you and your partner meet? What was a special date that you guys had, or a special memory that really speaks to the testament of your relationship? Somebody once said, "Hey, he gave me a lily. He heard that I love lilies, and on our second date, he brought me lilies." And so I think that's just really wonderful. So on their honeymoon, I asked the resort, is there any way we can put some lilies in the room? Is there any way we can do something that like sparks them to remember the joy of their first relationship? And so having those little details are what people remember after their trips, right? To say, oh, she remembered I love lilies, and those lilies were in my room, and with a note from her. So that's where your partnerships with your resorts come in handy, or properties, doesn't just have to be resorts, and saying, hey, I just want to make this as special as possible for this group of people, and it's really exciting to do that as well.
Charity, it sounds like you have just kind of created this environment for your business that really speaks, like it's exactly the way you want it to be. And it's high level service, it's luxury, it speaks to being available a lot to your clients. Are there boundaries that you set so that clients know when and how they can reach you? Because I know that's a problem for me, and it was COVID that taught me to put up some of those lines. um, how do you handle the boundaries when you're dealing with kind of this? I think it's important for everyone to set those boundaries, but when you have people who are perhaps paying a little bit more, they expect more.
hmm So for us, those boundaries are establishing, established hours of communication, right? So I have a VoIP number, which is different from my actual phone number. They can text that number and it comes to my phone. But there's also an auto text that I have set up after business hours that says, hey, I'm not available right now. It's outside of business hours, but I will read this and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Also have those autoresponders on your email as well, saying, hey, you've emailed me outside of business hours. If you have a Gmail Enterprise Suite, you can easily set those up. Also, that's how I have the VoIP set up as well. We also have it set up on our social media messages inbox. So it's like, hey, I'm so glad you reached out to us. If you're ready to get started, go ahead and fill out this questionnaire and somebody will be back to you shortly. So we're still there and we give them that instant gratification of, oh, they saw it, but we also let them know, hey, we'll get back to you. It's outside of office hours right now, and somebody will get back to you as soon as possible, unless they're in destination. If they're in destination, as all of us do, you do need to be available. If I cannot be available, then I also have some help that can help me say, hey, I'm doing this right now. Can you call this resort and figure out what's
Mhm.
going on right here? So we also employ a VA for some help.
Okay. Wonderful. Charity, this has been such a fantastic conversation. I don't know why you were nervous. You were wonderful. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for taking the time. Congratulations on your success. We're so excited for you and proud of you. And we'll look forward to catching up and seeing your name in bright lights again. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
I love success stories, and I love stories that are successful when you've entered this industry during right before one of the most difficult times we've been through. So congratulations, Charity, on all your success. Our next guest has knocked it out of the park this month with his tips and thoughtfulness around American Heart Health Month. Please welcome back to the show, David Pritchard, Health and Wellness Director for Apple Leisure Group. Hi, David.
Hi, how are you doing, Carolyn? I'll tell you, Charity is so passionate. I want to book my next trip with her. She is.
Seriously, I want to book my next trip with her.
I know,
I mean,
I know.
I love when I hear agents that have such a clear sense of focus and purpose.
Right.
And it's never easy no matter who you are, but sometimes when you have that clear sense of focus and purpose, it can be harder because you have
Right.
to look for that right client that's going to appreciate what you're doing. But wow.
Yeah, you know, and this industry is just filled with so many passionate people who just want to make a difference and just going above and beyond like she does. I mean, the simple little things that, you know, really set yourself apart from really your competition. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just really
So
great.
going above and beyond can lead advisors to maybe not so always have the greatest heart healthy mindset. What
Yep.
are we talking about today?
All right, so listen, you know, Carolyn, I'm not pulling any punches anymore. You know, I feel I am the coach to the travel industry, and this is a very passionate topic for me. And you know, when it comes to taking care of themselves, yes, travel agents, travel advisors have not done a very good job of doing that. So I'm here to tell you it's easier than you think, and especially around heart health. You know, we don't have a lot of do-over sometimes, so it's really important to not overwhelm yourself from the start and just say, what are one or two things that I can start doing now that can start making a real big difference? And I really narrowed it down to three things. One, what we're putting in our body, right? Food. And it sometimes can be such a overwhelming and confusing topic to get started when it comes to eating well. But what I have to tell you here is that when it comes to heart health, just start looking what you have in your cupboards already. You know, start thinking about, you know, if you're sitting a lot during your day, which I know a lot of you are, start having like healthy nuts, you know, walnuts, cashews, almonds, things like that readily available. Okay, so that you can start, you know, snacking on those instead of M&Ms. Maybe you sprinkle just a few M&Ms in there, but those nuts are going to give you those healthy oils, those healthy nutrients that your heart needs to be strong. You know, just like berries are a great snack. Anything with berry, I want you to eat. Strawberry, blackberry, blueberry, strawberry. Those things have such great nutrients and antioxidants that go in and help fight off what we call free radicals. And those free radicals are really responsible for really all disease in your body. So, you know, have those readily available cut up in your refrigerator so that during the day when you're busy booking all your trips, that you can have those readily and just snack on them because they just pack a lot in a very small punch.
Do you know what I love? I love raspberries with a little square of dark chocolate.
Right.
I
Right.
love that. It's my after dinner drink. and
Yep.
I try to eat it early, not too late, but oh, I love
Right.
it. I just love
Yeah.
it. It hits the spot.
And again, that dark chocolate has antioxidants in it. So again, you're getting some antioxidants from the dark chocolate and from the berries and things like that. So, you know, set yourself up for success. I always say, you know, preparation and planning is the key to controlling willpower. We only have an infinite source of willpower, especially when we're busy. So you have to make it easy for you when it comes to choices. So having healthy nuts, having those berries and things like that. The other thing is staying hydrated. You know, drinking water, people think, oh, drinking water, you know, it's so boring. But hydration is a key to heart health. We need our blood and our circulatory system to run smoothly, and staying hydrated is a big part of it. So have water bottles readily available. I aim to drink about 12 of these a day, and this is 16 ounces. I'm a big water drinker. It gives you energy, makes you feel better, and it's really good for your heart. Throw some lemons in there, which is another antioxidant, so it's going to be good for your heart as well. So water is very, very important.
You know, David, one of the things I've found is if you are a big soda drinker, someone's a big soda drinker, if you drink water out of a container with a straw, it mimics that motion. Because I'm going to be honest with you, every once in a while, I shouldn't say every once in a while, at least once a week, I'm going to be honest, I love to stop at McDonald's for a large Diet Coke, not a small Diet Coke, a large Diet Coke. And there's something about, and I do it also when I head up to the mountains to ski. I stop at 7-Eleven and get a big gulp. There's something about that fountain drink that I like and drinking out of a straw. So if I drink water out of a container with a straw, it mimics that same motion.
Sure.
Not necessarily the taste, but it's something about that container with the straw that draws me to it. And so I'm satisfied. I'm not overjoyed, but I am satisfied.
Right. And being, making sure it's cold, have tons of ice, add some LaCroix or seltzer in there to add some bubbles, which is really good too. The other thing too is watch your meat intake. I love meat. I love chicken and steak and fish, but making sure that you're controlling your saturated fats. One of the things that does the most harm to our heart really is saturated fats. That, the red meat, the fat, and all of those things. So aim for low sodium based lunch meats. I mean, you can find those at the deli. You just have to ask for them. You just have to say, can I have something with maybe low nitrates, low sodium? And there is turkey and ham and all of those things that you can still enjoy without all of that sodium that's not good for the heart. Grilled chicken, try to add more fish into your diet, that salmon, that tuna that has those omega fatty acids, which are super power nutrients for your heart. We do not get enough unless we go on vacation, which we know is easy to get fish, right? When we go to Mexico and the Caribbean. But at home, it's very difficult to probably eat that seafood that is so good for your heart. So try to aim for at least 1 or 2 times a week to try to add some fish. But if you can't, take an omega fatty acid supplement, a fish oil. It's so good for you. It's like a supercharge for your heart, for your skin, for your hair, for your blood sugar. Research has been overwhelming when it comes to heart health and omega fatty acids.
Well, and I will tell you one thing that has really helped me and my family is and I like to cook, but if you don't like to cook or don't know how to cook some of those things, like if the fish is always underdone or the chicken's overcooked or undercooked, I am not kidding. You guys, I'm going to plug it again because I don't think I've plugged it yet in 2022. The air fryer.
Yep.
This thing is magic. I will pull out a salmon fillet for lunch and I will throw that in there. And it's that weird combination of savory and filling that is perfect for my lunch.
Yes.
And then I don't find myself reaching for potato chips or anything like that. So it's kind of been a game changer for me. That and the bagged salad. That's my game.
Right. And again, we're busy, and so it can be overwhelming to put all this into perspective, but create a menu for the week. And, you're going to have times where it's not going to be always healthy, and that's okay. But the majority of the time, if you can aim for a menu and then you can go grocery shopping according to that menu. And the key here is being prepared and planning. That is the key here, so that you don't get yourself in trouble. And the other thing I want to add to the food part, I mean, we have our nutrients, we have our food, and we have our supplementation, making sure that you're getting enough vitamin D3. Now, we know vitamin D3 has been been in the news a lot lately these last couple of years because of your immune system support, but we know vitamin D3 and heart health go hand in hand. So make sure every one of us needs vitamin D3 in our life every day, not only for immune system, but for a healthy heart. And one way you can get that is obviously go on vacation to a sunny place and get lots of sun, but make sure you get outside and move. One of the other big pieces to heart health is movement. Now, you know that I love movement. I'm a physical therapist, so I preach it all the time, but I know that it's difficult. You don't need to go to a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. Aim to try to at least do 15 to 30 minutes. Walk outside, go for a bike ride, take this, walk up and down flights of stairs, stand up from your desk and literally march in place, every hour. You have to get up and move more. It is one of the things right now that is really hurting our bodies, sitting all day at your desk. And that circulatory system slows down, and that affects our heart health.
If COVID taught us, well, it taught us many things, but it taught us that you don't have to go to the gym every day to get a great workout in. So
absolutely. So moving, every day. Don't aim to try to go big. You don't need to go to the gym. You don't need to do this fancy workout stuff, but try to aim for at least 15 to 30 minutes a day of some sort of movement that can help bring that circulatory system going and make your heart stronger. Because listen, we need to get uncomfortable. Getting uncomfortable is the key to success in everything in life. And when we get out of our comfort zone, our heart literally gets stronger. So the last thing I want to say around heart health, and this is probably one of the most important things, and if I leave you with anything, and I want you to remember this, is manage chronic stress. In my house right now, we're getting some renovations done. So I have a plumber here. And when we were talking about, he goes, the worst thing that can happen in a home is the leaky faucet, the small little leaky faucet, right? He goes, when the water's gushing out, we know where the problem is and we go and fix it. The same thing with stress. It's that small little chronic stress every single day for years that adds up. And maybe we don't see it, we're not really feeling it, but it is really killing us slowly inside. So we have to find a way to manage that chronic stress before it gets too big and causes too much of a problem. We, heart attacks happen because of that. We get sick because of that, low immune system because of that. So we have to find a way to do that better.
David, thank you so much. That was a great note to end on, and we appreciate you. We thank you for being with us all month, and I know you'll be back sometime in the future.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. Be well.
I love it. You guys can see. So it's taken me a long time to figure out how to balance work and family and getting that exercise, but I feel like I'm kind of in a groove right now. All right. Our next guest is the Director of Sales and Communication for the Galapagos Product with Celebrity Cruise Line. Please welcome Susanna Romero. And I know you all have been waiting for this because I have been waiting for this. Hi.
I can't tell you how excited I am. And after seeing Charity and then this amazing presentation about heart health, I am just beside myself. So hard act to follow, but I'm going to do my best. Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you here. This Galapagos is an amazing product. And I think it's a fascinating destination and one that takes time and education to learn. How did you come to love this destination and have such passion for it?
I did not know you were going to ask me this because you did not tell me, but I'd love to talk about how I came to this. Impromptu, I love that. Actually, I have been with the celebrity brand for a very long time. I am a celebrity ambassador and I love what we do on our fleet. And about 19, 20 years ago, a very nice gentleman came to me and said, Susanna, we're working on a project and it's kind of a very hush-hush project. And you're going to have to sign an NDA for me to talk to you about it. So I said, okay, give me the paper. Where do I sign? Because NDA, you want to know, right? And then I realized that I was signing to have a conversation about starting up operations in the Galapagos Islands and purchasing a ship and just offering this amazing experience. And I said, I already signed the NDA. Where do I sign up, right, to really do this? And that's how I came to be part of this. My background is marketing and communications, but I had this real nice relationship with our operations team. And they thought that I would be a great fit to bring it all to life because then we had to go out to Ecuador, right, and work with a different government. And being that I am multicultural, it was kind of a very, very nice fit. In a way, I became the translator of the Ecuadorian needs from a business perspective into our amazing corporate culture, the one that we have here in Miami. So that's how I came to do this now almost 20 years ago.
So why would someone choose to do an expedition? And what's the draw of this type of cruising as opposed to doing this kind of land-based?
And that's a great question because the truth is that in Galapagos, the best way to visit these islands is via ship. The distances in the archipelago are so long that you really can't go into one of the islands and see what's there to see. You really need to spend the time that it takes to go from island to island, which in many cases is not possible. You would have to be there for 3 months in order to actually see all of it. The little boats that take you from a mainland into one of these incredibly remote and amazing little places are not that comfortable. So in reality, seeing the Galapagos from a vessel, it's truly the best way to do it.
And what sort of population would you see on the ship? Are we talking a more mature client? Are we talking sometimes families, adventure seekers?
It's a combination. You have the adventure seekers. Remember, this is a very luxurious type of experience with Celebrity Cruises. We have 3 ships, 3 sizes of vessels there. A 16-guest catamaran, which is very exclusive. Sometimes we have families that just charter it to be with the family. Then we have a mid-size, right? A 48-guest multi-generational ship that really allows for a lot of space. And then our latest and greatest, our Celebrity Flora, which is 100 guests, which is, believe it or not, the large ship category in Galapagos with 50 suites, all suites of luxury. So we do get a mix, but the common denominator is love for nature, discovery, and trying to do those things that are completely out of the ordinary. This is a very different client. This is a client that truly knows what they want. And interesting that Charity talked about this. It's about convenience. It's about working with a travel agent that can truly put it all together and that knows, right? And working with brands that people trust, because you're going to a very remote place. We all know what we've learned from the last couple of years. It is that traveling with a brand that you trust that can protect you is very, very important. And that has made us incredibly successful through the 18 years.
So what does an advisor really need to know if they are going to try and present this product and sell this product to their clients?
I think the number one thing that an advisor needs to know is they need to know their client, right? And this is not necessarily just about an expedition, but really about everything they sell. Get to know your client, get to know what they want, get to know how they live, get to know about their previous vacations, where have they been, what did they like the most about that, and what are they looking for? Not only physically, but emotionally. What are you trying to get out of it, right? We now travel more for that bucket list feeling. We travel more for the inside of how the destination made me feel. What did I learn? What's happening in that community? And super important is, what is that company doing for that community, right? Not just about going, it's about how immersed are they with that community? How are they working together? Are they working with the fishermen? Are they working with the agricultural community? What's going on internally? I think that's key. That agent needs to get to know that. And once they know that, obviously from a celebrity standpoint, is we offer the one and only all-inclusive product in Galapagos. And we're inclusive from the airfare from the US all the way to bringing them back. Pre and post experiences in Quito, Ecuador, the 7-night cruise, an exclusive non-stop flight that takes our guests from Quito into the Galapagos Islands just for celebrity guests. So this is seamless. Talk about convenience and trust. From the moment that they board that airplane, they're covered. We're with them all the way throughout their experience.
And what a wow factor too, to be able to tell your client that this is how it is. And I think you brought up a couple things that I believe are trends, right? They started probably 6-8 months ago, but that all-inclusive piece, no matter what kind of product it is, it's that taking care of piece, and the tourism that cares, right? It's not just about what the client wants, it's also about how does this impact the community. And it's lovely to hear that you speak about that partnership between celebrity and the Galapagos.
We're going to need about 2 hours for me to talk about this, but I'm going to give you just a couple of things that we do there. We have the one and only reforestation program in conjunction with the Galapagos National Park in the Galapagos Islands. Our guests get to actually go plant Stalesia trees, which are vital to the survival of giant tortoises. We have a fund, the Galapagos Fund, where our guests get to contribute, and 100% of those funds is fully dedicated to the communities of Galapagos. We do things like soccer fields for the community. We do things like special places for children with special needs to showcase art. It's not about just giving money to the community, because the truth is the Galapagos Islands are beautifully rich islands and people live very nice lives, but it's about doing what is right for the community and what it is that they are wanting us to do. It is truly remarkable to be part of this project.
I love it. Did you, I read somewhere, and correct me if I'm wrong, did you have a hand in the design elements of the flora?
I had the amazing opportunity to work with our design team and the amazing designers that were part of building this ship. Francesca Bucci and her team in New York, plus our interior, our internal group. I work with our operations team that truly knows everything there is to know about bringing all of this to life. And I brought my expertise of years of knowing what our guests are wanting, right? And how the destination and the ship should become one. To create a ship that allowed us to be as close to the destination as you can be, that has that seamless ship to shore via an incredible marina, having suites that offer refuge. Galapagos is a very emotional place to visit. These rooms, to me, had to have that feeling of, I came to the place where I can journal. I came to the place where I can take this incredible shower and the space and the textures. So I did, and it's certainly not my design, but I do have a little piece in there of what I felt would be truly amazing for our guests.
I've said it before on this show that I would imagine when you are part of that conversation from the beginning, that seeing the ship then in the water has to be a very emotional experience.
It really is. The day that we named our vessel with an incredible godmother, she's an ex-minister of the environment in Ecuador, and a woman that's truly about conservation and preservation. And I felt so proud that we chose her and that she accepted, right, to be our godmother. And we were in the middle of the Galapagos Islands, and here comes a Zodiac tender boat with actual pipe players that played that amazing music about just introducing a vessel and bringing a godmother. And it was just a very emotional process to see it all happen.
I love it. Before I let you go, do you have one particular thing that you just have done or seen on your visits that just stands out in your mind as the most incredible thing that will make us want to turn around and either go ourselves or get a client there?
Yes, I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I want to say before we go, because I got so excited that I forgot. One is our commission structure for our travel partners is amazing. It's 20% from the very first cruise they sell. So this is a very profitable cruise to sell for our clients. And if you need to think about something, it's about that mating dance of the blue-footed boobies, where the male blue-footed boobies just dance and lift their legs and show their blue feet. That's to say, look at how bright and how wonderful I am. And they whistle and they sing to each other. It's an incredible thing to witness.
Oh, I can't thank you enough for being here. This has been such an education, and I know I'll be going to watch videos. I tell a lot of our cruise guests that one of my favorite things to do is to watch the videos of the ships and just look at the beauty. But hopefully I'll be able to get there sometime soon.
Anytime. We'd love to have you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You as well.
Such a fascinating destination, you guys. I hope that you'll spend some time researching it and figuring out who the best client is in your database that will get them there. So we are to our final segment, but definitely not our final curtain call here, because this gentleman is amazing. Craig Freeman is the business optimization executive for KHM Travel Group, and he also oversees the diversity, equity, and inclusion team. Please welcome, I think for the first time to the show, Craig Freeman. Hi.
Hey, Carolyn, how are you?
Good. What did you think of the show so far?
Oh, my goodness. Susan talked about a hard act to follow. I mean, I got to follow all three of them.
I'll make it easy on you.
Because David said I needed to move. So, oh my goodness, what a great session. I mean, just great presenters there.
Let me tell you,
I'm taking a lot of notes myself.
Yep. Every time David comes on, I find my dinners are much healthier that day.
Yes.
So you are really the lead, the oversight for the diversity, equity, inclusion team at KHM Travel Group. And, we know it's important to have representation of all sorts throughout the travel agent community. And we were lucky enough to have Ernest Boger on the first week, who is part of TPOC. And he talked about getting a seat at the table and how you get a seat at the table. So do you feel like you have a seat at the table, and not only is the seat yours, but you have an opportunity to speak, but also be heard?
Well, that's a great question, Carolyn, and Dr. Ernest is part of our diversity, equity, inclusion committee. And yes, I do. Yes, I do. We've had some amazing conversations with some of our suppliers, because as you know, we started the DE&I back in 2017. And just from that alone, we've had a number of these suppliers who say, wow, you know, what you guys have in place, we need to kind of rethink some things. So that's just been amazing for us. When we look at the industry and recognize that the industry is $1 trillion industry, we have to look at how we break that down into different demographics, because everybody really wants to travel. I tell people all the time, travel is sexy, you know? So with that, it's up to us as KHM leaders in the industry to try to help foster change. Because when we look at some of the marketing materials, you know, sometimes all the demographics aren't there. And typically when we talk about demographics of diversity, it oftentimes comes down to the big two, you know, race and gender. But we want to broaden that. We want to talk about everything. We want to talk about accessible travel for autistic travelers, as well as visually impaired, physically impaired, all types of body types, you know, so that you're not just seeing one type of body type there. You know, a lot of times people say, well, I can't relate to that image because it doesn't look like me. And let's face it, when we're talking about collateral material says this to customers. One, it says, I thought about you.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it says you are welcome. We want you to come and have an experience with us. And number three, it says you're safe. Just as Susan talked about, brands need to protect their clients. So that's part of that. So we're just really excited about what the committee has done as a whole, because we have some great committee members that are part of our DE&I journey. We say journey, not an initiative, but part of the journey, because it's going to take all of us coming together, locking arms and saying, hey, we want to be part of the change for the bigger picture of the industry.
I joke all the time when I see the advertisements with the woman in the white bathing suit, because I don't care who you are. I don't know one woman that likes themselves in a white suit. Yet that seems to be what everyone wears in every commercial and every brochure. And you talk about not being able to relate. I can't relate to that. And, you know, it could go so far as, yeah, if that's what that resort's like, I'm not going there. You mentioned that, you know, you're having the conversations with suppliers, and I think conversations are great, but there is that next step, right? We can talk all day long.
Yes.
But what sort of action have you seen come out of that? Have you really witnessed where there's been that shift?
Yes. So, you know, it's a great question. I'm glad you asked that, Carolyn, because we have 9 subcommittees, and one of the subcommittees is focused on supplier review. That committee is designed to only watch what suppliers put out in the world. So we track every piece of material that a supplier sends to KHM and say, hey, Mark, share this with your advisors. We track that. And what we have found is that when I talk about that with the suppliers, they're very interested about that. And it's like, oh, man, we need to do better in that area. So it has had an impact on suppliers. And I'll share this one story with you. We had a supplier that said, hey, I'm interested in going for the Diversity in Action Award that we offer. And that'll be coming up March 2nd, I think that is. That's where we look at the supplier who has the greatest footprint of diversity, diversity footprint. And one of the suppliers said, you know, we were going to go for that award. But when we looked internally, we realized that we're not ready. We have to work internally first so that we can have an impact externally. So we are having an impact. So
I think it's interesting because we can talk and talk and talk, but eventually there has to be some action.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I think we're starting to see that. But I tend to think it's a little bit slower. One group that is amazing at putting out graphics and really speaking to different communities is our own marketing team and
Yes. Yes.
the graphics that they put out monthly for agents. So a huge shout out to our marketing team. They're thoughtful and cognizant and just creative. You know, it's kind of like they took the message and they ran with it, and they're making an impact, which is really
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you brought that up, Carolyn, because you know that was a brainchild of Ashley Newton, and we're just so appreciative of her taking that lead and running with it. You can go. I would encourage all the advisors that are on the call today. If you have not been to your KHM portal to look at the diversity, equity, and inclusion, we have what's called shared social graphics. Take a look at that. Oh my goodness, there's so many outstanding graphics that you can pull, download, and use yourself to promote to your clients. And it just warms my heart. I had a vision of seeing a physically impaired individual on the beach in a wheelchair. I actually found it. Now, the next one I'm looking for is someone who is visually impaired, who has a service dog that's on the beach or on a cruise ship. You know, I'm looking for those type images. We're looking for that because it just says to everyone. Now, the visually impaired person may not be able to see that, but someone can tell them.
And you can hear it. Yep.
Right, exactly. Then what does that say to them? They thought about me.
Yep.
I want to visit that destination.
Exactly. So if there was one thing you would say that is an area of growth, and maybe it's not just one, for diversity, equity, and inclusion, or something you'd like to see next, what would it be?
Well, I think it's still, because as you said earlier, we still have a long way to go. I would like to see more of the suppliers participate. So I'd like to see over the next year if we can get an additional 5 to 10 suppliers participating. One of the goals that we're thinking about doing is for the KHM family base, our advisory base, is to be able to go to a portal, see the supplier, and then if you see our DE&I logo behind their name for various aspects of, you know, they're LGBT friendly, they're autistic, has an autistic program. You know, we will put that logo back there so everyone will know, oh, wow, here's a resort or a cruise that I can take that will cater to whatever I'm faced with or whatever my client is faced with. So we're looking forward in doing that and getting more suppliers to step up and say, hey, I want to go for that Diversity in Action Award. So we're just really excited about that because it just really jazzes the industry and it jazzes those suppliers when we call them and say, hey, we'd like to recognize you as the next winner of the Diversity in Action Award.
And it's probably an interesting conversation to say, hey, by the way, did you know that your marketing is not super inclusive? I'm sure people don't want to hear that conversation, but it's a message that, quite frankly, should be passed along if that is what people are seeing.
Well, it's a very sensitive topic, Carolyn, and I've had to talk with some of the marketing directors, and you can hear and feel them trying to push back. The goal is not to beat them over the head. The goal is to share where the light bulb goes off for them. So oftentimes when I give them credit for what they have in place and then ask, what can we do to help you take it to the next level, then they become a bit more receptive.
Mm-hmm. Yes. How can I help you is always a great way to approach things. Yeah. What can I do better to help you? I love it. And we're so excited. We're going to be giving that award away on the next show, which will be April 2nd. And so be sure to tune in for that. Craig, thank you for your time today. We really appreciate
it. Thank you so much for having me, Carolyn.
You are very welcome. And hopefully I'll see you next week.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, thank you. All right, you guys, it has been a wonderful show. I'm so glad that you all joined me today. Thank you to all of our sponsors. You guys, this list just keeps getting longer and longer each week. So we thank Apple Leisure Group for being our overall show sponsor. I'll see you March 2nd. Be sure to follow us on social and see pictures of boot camp next week. And we're going to just celebrate our agents in incredible style on March 2nd. So we look forward to seeing you then. And have a great rest of your week. Take care, everyone.